Good evening, and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We are on location from Sam Rayburn Reservoir. Hopefully, we have the audio. Do we have audio? I think we have audio. Yep, we're good to go. All right. We're at Sam Rayburn for the first Bassmaster Central Open. We have reached that time of the year where we have BPTs about to kick off, Elite Series that just concluded, Elite Series rookies that had to wait 8 days to get their first trophy. Fisher and Naya, big win on Lake Martin. We're going to kind of talk about that. We actually saw kind of the first rendition of the scope, no scope, the coin flip. We're seeing that come to fruition. Do you remember Matt Stefan when they did the coin flip last year?
I do recall that.
Yes, they had Zona and Sanders in the studio, and then they would flip a coin, and it went Gunnersville no scope, Lake Martin scope, and I think it drastically had some impact on it. We got the grub out of the no scope, and then we saw Fisher and Naya. Now, we're gonna jump into this right off the bat, Matt Stefan, because you have done a video about your thoughts on butt seats at the front of the boat, and Fisher Naya, I believe, was using a butt seat
I don't know if he was or
for his win.
Are you're assuming he was?
He was. I saw, but it was one of the new kind of those saddle seats. So it had no back on it and it wasn't a butt seat. It was like one of those kind of long, like bleacher styles. You know what I mean? Like the rounded.
It looks like a saddle. I think you should have to sit on that with one leg on each side. Straddle it.
You think in order to make it, you should legally, you think in order to use it, you should have to straddle the saddle.
I love how you just throw me under the bus.
I wasn't. You just did a video on it last week about the hot topics.
If you watch the video, what it was specifically is if you don't want to get involved in the middle of the gossip, don't talk about these topics. And one of them was the butt seat.
Anyway,
there was a lot of butt seat. I wish I had a butt seat this week.
This week on Rayburn is going to be interesting. It was if you do look, I got a little bit of sun today. It was 78, sunny.
Is that not warm again?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yesterday when we launched the boats, 53, 54 degree water pretty much throughout most of the lake. By the end this evening, I was fishing in 61.8 degree water.
Yeah. Surface temp warmed up. I still think it's pretty cold down deep. That's my assumption.
Run me through that. So I've never really thought about this through, but because we had a really warm winter and then we kind of had a Arctic blast that came through and it was 15 degrees here for 3 or 4 days. And now it's been a steady warming trend. What's your thought process on like the stratification of the water temperatures?
Well, I think generally the anglers get more excited than the fish do when we see warm surface temperatures, because if you go down 20, 30 feet where a lot of those fish are right now, you're talking about significantly colder temperatures. So those fish aren't going to see that impact and probably aren't going to want to start moving up. Now, having said that, there are definitely fish that are up shallow that probably might be thinking about procreating. But at this point, I mean, we're going to have a bunch of nice days. I don't think we're going to have some massive wave of fish push up. I really don't. I don't think a whole lot's going to change. I think you give it another couple weeks as we push into March, that's when you'll start to really see a big fish movement.
So your thought is, like just hypothetically, it's 61 degrees in 3 foot of water. That's probably top to bottom up there.
Yeah.
But you get out in 15, 20 foot of water, you think you're still dealing with low 50s, upper 40s that deep?
I think you're easily 10 to 15 degrees cooler.
Interesting.
Especially on a lake. Like right now, there's current coming through Sam Rayburn, but not that much. So it really is just one big mass of, water that's definitely different based on the water column that you're in. When you're talking about a lake like Kentucky Lake, where there's a lot more current going through it,
So the current pushes makes
yeah,
it more stable.
mixes it up, kind of makes it more stable. And in this case, I just don't think there's that much current coming into this lake right now. And they're not. I don't think they're generating much. I know when I've driven over the dam, it didn't look like
Yeah,
I saw.
I don't know if they can. It's 9.5 feet low.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. It would not surprise me though if there were fish caught on if there was a bed fish caught in this event.
There will be bedfish.
Yeah.
Every time I've ever been here, which has been end of January or February, there's always been some bedfish to be caught. Every time. And we've had some really cold, crummy weather in those as well. And there's still been a few fish that now I'm not saying I don't think it'll be a player, like a big player, but it wouldn't surprise me if somebody ends up catching a big one or gets on a shallow bite where they're fishing a lot of isolated pieces of wood and stuff that's on the bottom and they actually get onto a little bit of a spawning deal. But I don't, I mean, you're talking about males and that's not what you need here generally.
Now, I will say this, I have caught, so typically the way I've always thought about it is you get this time of the year, you catch a fish that's a buck bass, that 2 to 2.25 pounder. And in the spring, like they start peeing, like when you hold them and things like that, and they just look like is whether you catch a fish and it starts peeing a lot. Does that have any indication of whether it's a fixing to spawn or not? Because I caught some today in shallow water that were buck bass that were peeing, whereas the ones that you're catching out of the deeper water, the scope fish, it's no secret, are not peeing.
You gotta stop squeezing so hard.
Well, I'm just happy to catch one. I'm just giving them a hug.
Yeah, no, they definitely when they're around the spawn, that's when they're more of a in a peeing position. But
Okay.
you can catch fish in the end of the year too that are peeing. So from that standpoint, I think it does definitely come into play. It is a good indication that the spawn is going on. How many did you catch today that were peeing?
Probably 5 or 6.
Oh, not 6 or 7.
might have caught 6 or 7. But I mean, not like big ones, just like, smaller, but they definitely seem.
Well, they get randy this time of year.
But it'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on how it'll be won? Out deep, scoping, up shallow.
I mean,
mid.
Do you think what are the better question or what are the odds that it will be won not scoping? Is there a chance? Is there a percentage?
I think there's absolutely a percentage chance.
No way.
No? You think it'll
0.
be straight scoping?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're gonna see some pretty stout weights. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it takes 70 pounds.
Oh, I would assume it would take 70. The Toyota was last week. LeBron averaged around 20 pounds a day.
Okay.
To get the job done. That was like 110 boat field. I think there's over 200 boats in this field. So I think
throw the scope on, add 3 pounds.
And those guys were only able to scope for one period.
Yeah.
So, in addition, let's get back to this Fisher and I win.
Okay. I don't know that much about it. I've been here practicing.
And in addition, he won it primarily on a 13 millimeter dice bait. So the rage has been the dice this year, and we're 2 tournaments in, first scope tournament on the Elite Series. The dice comes to play.
I think you're going to see a ton of wins on the dice this year.
Really?
I think we are in such the early movement of a major trend that I think you're going to see. I mean, in my opinion, it gets better as the year goes on. So from that standpoint, I think you're going to see it be a major player. And I mean, I can tell you I've caught a bunch of fish this week on it.
I have not.
Well, that's because you only have minnows.
No, I have the dice.
Oh.
I don't understand the dice yet.
I'll trade you Sacamadas for dice.
I might be able to work some.
Okay.
Is it hard to figure out the dice? Or is it more of a confidence thing?
I think it's a bait you need to put in your hands and figure out how to get the fish to react to it. But there's some really cool aspects to it that other baits don't have.
Now here's the question. The minnow, as we saw on Lake Gunnersville with Jamie Hartman, with Stetson Blaylock, with Jeff Gustafson last week, very effective fishing without live scope, blind minnowing. Is there a time and place for blind dicing?
Yeah, I caught several fish not looking at it.
Blind dicing.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually after Leech Lake, after the Bass Open on Leech Lake last year, I went out and ordered about pretty much every different version that was on the market and played around with it and found that it was very much a good bait for just fishing around cover as well. Like, and not looking at them. Throw it into the hole of, you got a big patch of milfoil with a hole, let it fall down the middle of it.
Now, are you talking the tumbleweed and the dice, like with the strands through it, or are you talking these spiky ball things?
Well, okay, so are we going to get into this? Aren't you the one that called it a spike?
I don't know what to call it. You're calling it a dice. I don't know.
I call any sort of center globuled object with hair coming out of it a dice bait.
Okay. Because in the Bassmaster article, he said it was an unnamed 13 millimeter dice style bait. But you also, like the tumbleweed and all that, those aren't like millimeters.
Yeah.
The millimeters is the Japan style, like the
Koiki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that tells me that Fisher was probably throwing.
I mean, I don't actually know. My assumption is that is what the category of baits is called.
Okay, I can live with that.
But you called it a spike.
I just don't know what to call it. Because it's not. It's like the dice bait. Literally, like if you look at like the original dice bait, like that one that comes in like the tri package that's like hollow on the inside, and then it's got the 3 little baits in there.
Yeah.
That actually is like a dice, with
the
rubber coming out of it. This is like a spike with spikes coming out of it.
I mean, yeah, you can call it a spike if you want.
I don't know what to call it.
I don't know that I think dice has been what has been everyone's gravitated toward. But if you'd like to try to name the category, I give you full rights to try to come up with a good name. But spike ball category is not going to work, I don't think.
Urchin?
I mean, that's not bad.
An urchin? I don't mind that.
It is kind of urchin-y. I like that. Should we just start calling it the urchin?
The urchin?
See if we can bring that on.
I think that the koiki is kind of the Cinco of dice baits, right? So I think regardless of what brand you're using, I think wouldn't you say typically that like the first to market are the most well-known?
Yeah, I don't know that the koiki was the first to market. It could have been in Japan. It was not. I don't believe it was the first major one here. I would say the OSP one was probably was potentially the first, or the G-Crack Q bomb.
I don't even know what that is. Does it look just like?
Yeah. I mean, those are more of your silicone stranded ones.
Okay. Have you used? Is G-Crack the one that has that 18-inch wacky?
Yeah, they came out.
That's like shaped with like a U.
Yeah.
Have you messed with that at all?
I have not.
Do you have any?
No.
I was at the tackle store before I head to this, and I almost.
Did they have them here?
No, not here. Back in Oklahoma, and I almost picked some up, but it also is one of those that's just so wild to me.
I mean, I had the dice early on, and I said this was dumb looking. Didn't throw it for a while, so
When
you
did
should have bought them.
When did you get it first? Like, do you remember when you got like your first die?
Yeah, my buddy Mike Weiss, who shout out to Mike Weiss. He was helping us work the core tackle booth at the Tulsa Bassmaster Classic, so
2
a couple
years
of
ago.
years ago.
Okay.
And he specifically knew about the dice at one of the booths and waited in line in the morning to get them before anyone else, and he got me a pack. That was my first one.
The OSP.
I believe it was the OSP one, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the dice and the urchin, I think those are separate baits. That to me is like the difference between like a flipping jig and a swim jig.
So my personal opinion is we are so early on in this trend, if that's what we want to call it, that in another 2 or 3 years, you're going to have legit dice baits. You're going to have your spike balls. You're going to have your multi-segmented baits. You're going to have your centipede style baits. You're going to have probably 5 or 6 different style plastics that have, some sort of tentacle objects to it.
Have you seen the new ones that have the chain inside? So it is basically like a worm, but it has like a metal chain
I
on the
know
inside of the bait.
man's had a Springer worm that had a spring through it.
That's not this. I'm trying to. Oh, I think it is right.
I don't know
here.
the chain, but I
It
know
is
Braid
it's
has
from
their
Hideout.
two-way.
Look at this right here, and I can't show it on the screen. Oh, services tab. Look at it right here. The Hideout chain worm. So that's a chain that goes all the way through the worm.
Yeah, that's like the man Springer worm. Only it had like a pen spring, and they poured the plastic around it.
What was that supposed to do?
Well, I think they did it so that you could rig it like wacky rig it, and you'd rig it through the wire, through the coil.
Yeah.
Is that what that's for?
I don't know.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about 2026. You're back fishing the opens last year. Miles Berghoff roomed with us. He is on to the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, where he cashed a check in the first event. We have Josh, who's rooming with us here as well from Canada, coming down to get his first taste of the opens. And then for the rest of the year, Blake Schroeder, who roomed with us last year, will also be jumping in with us. Yeah. So he just got engaged too.
Big shout out to Blake.
Yes.
Congrats.
Congratulations. He also gave us a good crawfish hole to go get some crawfish at some point this week.
I think we got to go to that Thai place.
The Thai
sushi
place?
and Thai.
That's where we went last year when we were here for 7 days when they canceled 2 days in a row and we had 3 days of no fishing.
Yes.
Because we had an off day and then 2 canceled days.
Crayfish could be good too, though.
You're not a big...
It's a lot of work.
Crawfish. No, you don't eat... The crayfish is like what you call them up north. I feel like...
Up north.
I feel like you get crawfish or mud bugs.
Oh, no, that is not a north thing. Crayfish.
Crayfish is what you call them.
Yeah.
But I don't think you order crayfish.
I believe crayfish is the actual correct term.
It is, but not when you're eating it. Like I don't know.
Oh, then they turn into crawfish?
Yes.
Oh, so the cooked crayfish is all of a sudden crawfish.
Goes from cray to craw.
I didn't know that. So
that's not true.
When they turn red, then they become crawfish. Yeah.
You're back. What are your goals in 2026 in the opens? Are you here to enjoy yourself? Are you here for content? Are you here to make the classic? Are you here to make the elite series? Like it's the first one. We have one more day of practice, an off day where we go register and do all that. And then
do we got to do photos again or have them walk through?
Just make sure it's tongue out and then always on a little bit of an angle for your photo.
Yeah, you are good with that. Hands on your hip or no?
If they ask, I feel like hands on the hips can come
You're
across
not,
as
you're not one of these guys.
no, that can come across as
Yeah,
pretentious.
that's kind of tough.
Like this is kind of pretentious.
Mm.
Like I feel like in order to do the angler photo with your arms crossed, you either have to have $500,000 in earnings or multiple wins, which I have neither. You could cross your hands.
I don't.
You could or cross your arms. I am not an arm crosser in my.
That's
in my
a
pictures.
yeah. That's a. You're putting up a front at that point, a defensive front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like trying to come across as like, hey, like I'm here to catch him.
Yeah.
But history has indicated otherwise.
For me,
no, you could cross
Oh.
your arms because you have a tour
no.
win.
I'm saying, I thought you were
$1
talking
million in
about
earnings.
here at Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, no, for your picture.
I don't like this place. I don't like this lake. I tell you this every day. It does not jive well. There are probably more bass in this lake than anywhere else, but I got to tell you, there were multiple places I was fishing today going, how could you disagree with me when I said it was flat? You go into pockets and you could be a quarter mile off the bank in 4 feet of water. It's flat.
That's called a flat on the lake. I don't feel like Sam Rayburn is flat.
It is a lowland impoundment. It is a
but it has
flat,
creek channels through it. It has good depth.
You go
it
up
has
the river,
drop.
go up the river, and you will see how flat it is. Like it's flat.
I don't think
What
it's
are
flat.
What are your goals? Let's get to you now.
Me?
Yeah.
EQs
Mm-hmm.
and be in the hunt in one open.
Ring the dinger bell. I like that.
I'm typically good for one good derby a year where I'm a bite or two right in there. And that's kind of what keeps me coming back, at least, is that kind of, you know what I mean? Like going into that final day where you get up, you've kind of neglected all of your responsibilities and duties at home because you're in the midst of an event that you know you've got a shot in. You have that added pressure, that added excitement of, I have 8 hours to make something really special happen. Like you kind of feel it. You're kind of ignoring the texts and calls of everybody because you don't want to get too wrapped up because it's only 2 periods in a 3-period game and no one congratulates the team that's leading at halftime.
You don't have halftime in a 3-period game.
And I mix two analogies, but the 2 periods.
Making the final day is a good feeling.
Yeah.
And you tend to put everything on hold and be like, no, I'm worried about what I'm doing at this point. You focus on yourself. Yeah.
So what are your goals then? I just laid mine out pretty simple. Make the EQs.
I mean, same thing. All the above. I mean, you obviously want to come, you want to compete, you want to cash checks, you want to have a shot potentially at the classic, you want to make the EQ, have a shot at the elites, you want to make content, you want to hang out with friends. Like there's a whole it's road life. Like there's a fun aspect to it. And if you don't enjoy it, that's when to me these tournaments are brutal. Like especially if you're not catching them, because then it's like, man, this is work because we work our butts off, but if you're not having fun at the same time, it's brutal.
Do you feel like you catch them better when you are having fun? Like just in general? Like the most fun that I had last year was Leech Lake. We had
house checks.
Yeah. Me, you, and Blake all cashed a check.
Oh, Miles didn't though.
Miles didn't, but Miles ended up not wanting to cash a check because then he would have that predicament.
Yeah. And wasn't he like top 10 or something? He had a big
he had 19 or 20 pounds on day one and then just a couple on day two because it was so windy. But that being said, like that was my most enjoyable tournament because we had the foosball and we had the golden tee, which I didn't know that you legitimately played in a golden tee league back in the day in Chicago.
Yeah, that was after my ping pong years.
We'll get into
I have not gotten to bags yet.
We'll get into the old cornhole. I'm up on cornhole this week, boys.
Yeah, I own $30 so far.
But we're not betting on it. Court's probably watching.
In fishing tackle.
Yeah.
$30 in fishing.
There you go. But I also knew I was going to catch him there just because I like Leech Lake. It vibes with it. I had some boulder dwellers that I knew were not going to be harassed by other anglers. So I like enjoyed that whole week, and then that was my best one of the year. Like, did not enjoy Kentucky Lake, caught one fish.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think the lakes matter with that. Like Kentucky Lake, my two least favorite lakes to fish are this place and Kentucky Lake. And that's just it's because it doesn't jive with my fishing style. Like I don't feel like I've got a good handle on it. But when you go to a fishery that like you're catching a bunch of fish, having a good time, that always helps. But to me, the housing situation is actually one of the biggest things. Like there early in my career, there was 1 or 2 years where I did it all just by myself in hotels. Holy cow. I mean, if you're having a bad tournament, you're on the water all day by yourself, you're struggling, then you go back, you're by yourself at a hotel, then you get up, you do it all over. So for like a week straight, you're basically a recluse. And for me at least, that was always difficult.
I
I
did
did not
that in
enjoy that.
the first year that I did the Toyotas in 19, and had a good year, but it did feel like it was missing some. Now there are certain guys who like Rojas. So he'll room with a couple guys, but for a long time, like he was a loner, but that was a strict strategic. He didn't want any outside influences. He didn't want to come into the house and hear so and so caught him doing this up shallow, and he's planning on doing something different out deep, and then it changes his. He wanted
Yeah.
no doc talk outside influences from other people that were in the tournament. Look at it like a job. He's there to do one thing: cast, catch, count, and mount.
I mean, to each their own. Some people prefer that, I guess. I I had a hard time with that.
Interesting. That I don't know if this is a healthy room situation with me either, because I mean I do one thing now. I I
Oh, yeah.
stay deep.
Well,
I throw a minnow.
but we don't like we very rarely talk.
Yeah, we don't
Fish-
really talk fishing at all. It's just
And
kind
I
of,
don't,
did you have a
yeah.
good day? Did you have a good day?
Like I don't enjoy doc talk either because when I like as an example, if I come back and you're like I cracked 20 pounds like you are, then at that point and you're cracking them on a minnow, and then we start talking about it. You're like, well, I go to the most obvious place in the lake, and then I go a quarter mile away from it, and that's where I start scoping because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And that is the type of stuff that as an angler drives me nuts because there's no good rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
Are you going to be offended if I eat an orange?
No, is that an orange or is that a clementine?
I believe.
I feel like that's a very small orange.
Well, it's not an orange. It's it's
a tangerine.
no, it's a halo. It's a why am I drawing a blank on what these are actually called?
A tanger.
It's a mandarin. It's a
Because it's a
mandarin.
very small orange. You also are like have huge hands, so.
Well, thank you.
Uh, so headed into this year, then my question then is: so like a lake that you don't like. I think everybody who's watching this, listening to this, obviously fishes. We all have lakes that we don't jive with, that we don't get along with. How do you get through? Like, how do you approach that without having a negative attitude? Then, because I know whether you're fishing a club tournament, whether your buddy asks you to go, there are lakes. What is a lake? Like, what is a lake that fits your style? What does that mean to you? And then B, how do you handle lakes that don't fit your style? Because that's like the most important aspect of it. Like, I mean, it's human nature. You can't like suppress feelings. So you're going to go to some places and have warm and fuzzies, and you go to other places and be like, I can't wait for this week to be over.
I have very few warm and fuzzies because coming from Wisconsin, like it's not like the tour goes there. Other than lacrosse, like Leech Lake is warm and fuzzy. Upstate New York, I feel like I've got a good handle on that stuff. Every other type of lake in the country is generally something that I've had to like kind of grow to figure out. So if it like the ones I tend to prefer more are the more highland impoundment style lakes, a Lanier, a Table Rock, places where like
Clearwater.
I love Clearwater stuff, Clearwater and grass. I love Florida. And I like places with
Grass
spotted
is
bass.
though. flat lakes have grass.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with flat when there's grass in it.
Oh, well, there's usually grass here.
There's no grass.
You've been very proud
Did
of
you
me.
find any grass?
I threw a rattle trap and emergent hydrilla today.
Emergent? How deep was it?
5 foot.
Really?
Yeah. I caught absolutely nothing.
I haven't seen one stitch of grass.
I almost took a picture of a sprig of hydrilla on my rattle trap and sent it to you just to say, hey, you'd be proud of me. I did it for probably half an hour.
I didn't even know you had hard baits anymore.
Now it was weird because there was some of it was like darker green, and then more out towards the middle it was actually like pretty bright green stuff.
So when the water comes up 9 feet, will that be good for that grass? Like, will that be a good start to growing a?
I went in a pocket that I had punched before, and in previous years, and because I knew that there'd be some grass in there, and but it was bad, at least for me.
I haven't fished.
This is the wildest thing about this lake. So I've had some decent tournaments on this lake. You've been here before, and I went and looked at 2 spots that I traditionally have had schools of fish, not like giant fish, but last year, remember in practice, like I was pretty keyed up. I said I got him on a hard spot, right?
Yeah.
I said I found him on a hard spot. It's in 6 to 8 feet of water. I can catch him every cast. And then Bass decided to stagger the takeoff, so I didn't get to take off till 9:30. Neither here nor there. But I went and looked at it today because I was in that neck of the woods. And I knew it would be dry. I knew it would be up on the bank. And I literally am like standing there with my arms folded on the front deck of the boat going, it's just sand. Like there's
Really?
no like
there's no like defined
rock, there's no shell. It's just sand.
And every year that's good though, right?
Yes. I've caught them there since 2019 when I found it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird to me.
Now here's the interesting thing. Going through the sand up there is like defined, like I want to say like imagine like a dry river channel, like through the sand, and it's like 2 or 3 feet deep.
So there's a ditch through it.
There's like multiple weird ditches through it, but I don't know if those were there as the water went down or if they're always there.
Did you know those were there?
I did not know they were there, but I also, every time I've been there, caught them there. And the last 2 times we've been here, I have had live scope. The fish would magically appear. It would look like a slick bottom, and then all of a sudden, boom, there'd be 3 fish underneath your bait. And I'm wondering if they weren't sitting in those little like ditches that were going across that sand point.
Well, knowing where that, I mean, I know roughly where that is. But being that it's on the end of a point, it's not like you have a creek that flows in there.
Right.
So I don't know what else would, if like, well, the water's been low. I don't know why that.
But what would have caused those striations originally? So basically, they're sitting in a mini ditch on a sand point, and it is not a hard spot.
Yeah, you got a ditch on a point.
Multiple ditches.
Are they going the same direction?
Yeah, they're going across. So like if the they're going across the ditch. They're not going like down the point like water running. They're actually horizontal. So the point goes like this, and then the ditches run like this.
So it's not. Is it a stair step or is it a stair step and it actually
comes back? It's a point that comes down like this, and then these that go through are like if you were to just take like basically a backhoe and drag it out. It's just like a channel.
Boy, that's weird.
It's very odd.
Should go get a backhoe and start digging some out right now.
That would actually probably be pretty badass.
Yeah.
You could probably do some pretty cool stuff up shallow if you wanted to dump some rock.
Yeah. Brush piles? Screw that. Get the backhoe.
Dump some rock up there. Mm-hmm. But all right. We're not going to go super long tonight. I appreciate everybody for jumping on, but I do want to get your take. You
I never know where this is going.
This is going somewhere interesting. So you fished the first DTF, also known as dual threat fishing event down on Okeechobee. You're fishing with Miles, then Miles jumped in and fished St. John's River. Probably is the happiest either of you have ever been to not cash a check.
I mean, I definitely am happy right now. I'm not sitting there with money lost other than travel expenses and lodging. And yeah, I mean, I don't know really what to tell you other than I know at least with Miles and I, we talked quite a bit before doing it, and both of us were like, this doesn't sound right. If we had to call BS on it, we would call BS on it. Um, but there was enough future opportunity that if it was not BS, in order to be involved in the future opportunity, we would have to fish the first year. Which is why, I mean, we jumped in a week before the tournament and we fished. We didn't even get to fish together. I fished alone at Okeechobee, and then he fished St. John's by himself.
Are you comfortable talking with how it came about that you ended up fishing it? Because it was kind of a last minute deal. Have you talked about this yet?
I don't know if
Are
I
you
have
you
or
cool with
haven't.
it?
I don't. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine with
So
that.
it's kind of wild how you even ended up in Florida a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. We so back in August, Leech Lake, the dual threat schedule came out. We were sitting at that Bigfoot cafe
Yes.
talking about the schedule. And at that point, like because there was the Mississippi River on
You're
it
not supposed to touch the table. It makes the camera jiggle. See?
and Watts Bar, Miles and I, we were like, man, that's right up our alley. And then 2 Florida events. So we talked a little bit about it, but it just didn't make sense financially or with our schedules. So we just put it on the back burner. And about a week prior to that first tournament, Miles got a call from I don't recall who specifically called him. I think it was Steve from Get Your Fish On.
Okay.
It may have been Ethan or whoever Ethan is. I don't recall specifically. Miles called me up and says, "Hey, we got an invite to fish dual threat fishing with zero entry fees." And so at that point, then I talked to that Ethan guy, supposedly
Who was the guy
owner.
who was running the entire
Yeah.
thing. And then there was a anonymous wealthy backer who was supplying.
So what he told me was he had gotten an investment deal to close like a couple days prior, and the investor needed they at that time it was a 100 boat field is what I thought it was. And the investor even said that the investor said in order to put the money in, they needed another 20 teams that had some form of social media recognition.
Superstars like you and Miles.
That's not what they said. They said they were
They
looking
needed
for people that could
needed
help.
influencers.
Well, this is the part that I don't understand because they said they were looking for people to help bring some exposure, and
Okay.
that's why they were offering us one of those 20 spots with zero entry fees. And at that time, they had mentioned they were going to make everything zero entry fees. And they said they'd need to know by the middle of next week or, by like that Tuesday or Wednesday. And keep in mind, I had to leave for Okeechobee like that following Saturday. Like I had nothing ready. Like it was just something where we felt like if it was so one of the things that he had told both of us was that he had 5 years of funding, there's no entry fees for 5 years. There was potential for Netflix deals.
That's $10 million in payout.
Listen, it sounded too good to be
okay,
true.
Sorry,
Right?
I didn't interrupt. So get to the good part.
So basically,
he said Netflix.
He said there was potential. He was working with a Netflix deal. He said it was a 20% chance for this year, 95% chance for next year. Like that was going to boost payouts. through all kinds of stuff.
He said that next year to have a Netflix documentary style
Yeah.
following dual threat fishing
Yes.
was a 95% chance.
Yes, he said yes. He may have said 99% chance. But that was gonna, if that deal closed, that would bring a lot of additional revenue to be paid out. There was a lot of things that he was throwing out there that it was kind of like, man, this sounds, again, sketchy. The more than anything, every time we talked to him, he was supposed to be this great construction businessman. And every time I talked to him, I walked away going, I'm not impressed at all. Like, it just sounded like it was just one of those things. But we also knew, like, the biggest loss we could have if we fished it was travel and time.
Mm-hmm.
So from our standpoint, it was like, if this is legit, we need to be involved this year, because it was like, you're guaranteed 2 years. There were several different things, but it was like, let's just do it, see what happens, go have some fun. So we did that, and Miles and I were both accurate in our, our red flags, our BS flags were going off the first time we talked to him. And I in our situation, I actually am happy that neither of us cashed checks or were owed money, but I feel terrible for, like, the teams that won
That
money or
won.
won $100,000, supposedly $100,000, and walked away with nothing at this point. So
what I've seen a lot about it, guys have said about it. What was the actual first event like? Like, as far as infrastructure, people that he brought down, how
There
the
was
tournament
nothing.
was run.
There was not. So he showed up. He showed up like
Matt Ellis said, I heard his real name is Lane Kiffin. You have to really be into college football to get that one, but that's a good one.
So he showed up a half hour before the first meeting. He gave a meeting, which really wasn't a meeting. It was not even really anything more than a, hey, I'm Ethan. You guys all know how to do this. So let's just go have a good time. I mean, it was literally like that. And then other, people started raising their hand, and they were like, how are we checking in? Is there a takeoff boat? Like, things like that. And you could tell clearly he had no clue what he got himself into. Let's put it that way.
But you got the feeling that he was, with what he showed up to Okeechobee with, you got the feeling that he was trying his best to put on a legitimate.
No, I don't feel
No.
like there was any effort. I think each day they definitely made strides to get better.
Was that him doing that, or was that Scott?
Well, no, I think it was
Roland and Marion Martin Marina.
Yeah, I think it was Roland Martin Marina's staff was
Staff.
doing things. But as far as I know, he still went out and bought, like, bump tanks and things to actually use. The part that I don't understand, like, when you look at this and you go, what was the play here? I mean, it sounds as if, and I don't know what's true or not true. Like, I haven't talked about it on my channel because I don't know what is true or not true. I know what I experienced, but that's about it.
That's what I'm asking you. I'm
interviewing
you about it. So.
But I just have a hard time with understanding what the fraud is. Like, it sounds as if there was deposit money that was not returned to some teams. It sounds like there was some money, some teams that may have paid in full. So that's $30,000.
It should have been returned before it even started, because no one was supposedly paying entry fees.
Yes, you would have thought that.
Unless it no longer existed.
Well, that's the thing. Like, is there even an investor at this point? Like, did he do all of this for what I would guess is $50,000 to $100,000? A lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but you've just created a much more. You've exposed you've brought in. You've created a lot more exposure on this Like, what's the point of doing that? Like, I would think that if you were trying to,
You're saying run a quiet $50,000 scam, not a.
well, yeah, why would you do the free entry fees at that point? Why would you bring in a bunch of people that have social media accounts? Like, why would you do things that, is it because he was trying to make it into something and get sponsor dollars, or bring legitimacy to it and maybe flip it quick? I
Was
don't
it a
I
fake it? So basically, what you're, or what the big question is, was this like a fake it till you make it scenario where he realized he was in over his head, but it still went off, and then it was just handled atrociously, or was it a
yeah.
mastermind scheme to swindle eager
I
bass fishermen and
yeah.
sponsors somehow out
That
of the money?
that's the
Is
part.
basically what you're saying.
Like, I feel like the fact that this was released a year ago, basically,
They
and
had
it's been
time.
worked on, like they had time to, I guess, do either try to run it legitimately or try to really create this
Mhm.
master fraud plan. I just feel like it was so unprepared on from both sides that I don't know that
So
he
like
even
there
had a
was
plan.
staff wise, who was there, like not from the marina, whose job it is to
Yeah.
assist and run that. Scott
I
put
don't
out a great video kind of explaining his lack of involvement in it and just happened to be out of their marina. But like staff wise, like that you saw,
other than the supposed Ethan character
so
that,
the owner
and
slash.
then I thought he had his son there and his son's friend, who I think was acting as like a camera person or something. I honestly don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't like, from my perspective, I was there to fish, right?
Yeah.
So like, the unfortunate part, outside of the people losing money, but from a tournament perspective, like, it truly was a fun tournament to fish. And I think it was because it was so low key. Like, the anglers basically ran it. The anglers, was kind of like
The,
a
wait, the
local.
anglers were running 100.
Well, the anglers were running. I'm saying the anglers had so much experience, everything flowed fine.
Takeoff, check
Yeah,
in,
we knew
weighing
what
of the
we were
fish.
doing.
There
It
were
was,
people just meandering about. It was all cut out all the BS that makes it where it's like, oh, the 2 hour meeting and then the.
yeah, and then every time there was a question, it was like you would ask him and he would be like, well, and stumble, and then, somebody would chime in and be like, do it this way. And then everyone's like, yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and do it that way. But I just feel like there really was opportunity there. And, I personally enjoyed the content that was made by a lot of the teams.
Mhm. I watched Kyle Patrick live a lot of
Yeah, I thought
the
Kyle's
time.
setup was great. I really enjoyed watching Scott and Hillary's stuff, like
Mhm.
seeing an actual family out there, and you could see like actual joy. I felt like you
That
see
was
some of
cool.
the,
They're going out of that marina. Scott's fishing with Hillary for 100 grand. Like you want to talk
yeah,
about like generational stuff.
yeah. It just, but you could. I actually, I don't know. It came being a parent. I could feel like Scott's true
Mhm.
enjoyment was actually to be doing it with his child, and I thought that was awesome. And then there were other teams that were just good buddies, and they're high-fiving and butt slapping and making fun of each other. Like, it was like legitimately what a team tournament is like. So, like, I think there's really a place for that in the sport. And
Mhm.
that's, from my perspective, I lost the expense of travel and time.
54 hours.
Compared to what some guys had, it wasn't much. For me, it was time. But I actually wish that we had the circuit to fish.
It sounds like it, and I awesome. I mean, you're fishing for 100 grand. It's kind of a nationwide thing. There's 6 events. I mean, you had a lot of big names in it.
The other crazy part is the amount of support, like, from sponsors. Like, I can't tell you the number of anglers, including myself, that had like sponsors reach out and be like, "Oh, you're fishing that dual thread? That's awesome!" Like, I mean, I know people that, like, the sponsors were like, "Hey, do you want to live stream it? We can like support you."
Real.
Oh my God, like more than I've ever heard with any other circuit. So it's just one of those things where I do think there's a place for it, and I think the fans really enjoyed it. It's just unfortunate that this is how it was. And the reality is, I think almost every angler that was there kind of knew. I mean, at least the ones
Were
that
you guys kind of
participated.
chatting like when you were there, when you would
Yeah.
hang out at night? Would you be like, "So, what do you think?"
So I would say I probably saw 10 people the first day, like the meeting where I went up and talked to them. And the first question was like, this popped up out of nowhere. And, and the response by everyone was, well, if it's not fraud, it's awesome. I mean, literally, like that was what we all were saying because none of it, especially after seeing the meeting at that point, it was like, what is going on here? So I don't know. I mean,
what did what have you guys like signed? Like, what do you have paperwork wise to for either the people like to cash a check to have some sort of legal recourse, or like what
yeah,
pen to ink or ink to pen? What is it? Paper
so
to
the
pen,
only thing I signed
pen to paper.
was an angler agreement contract, which, as far as I know, was basically like the same Bassmaster one. Like it was cut and paste Bassmaster. So I mean, it was.
So do you think this guy could play a reverse Uno card and then come after all of you for talking? Like, could he come after the guys who have posted besmirching things about dual threat fishing and freaking void their
I mean,
contract and then not pay them?
I don't think that's the play. But I can tell you, I mean, it does sound like he's been pretty vocal about some people out there. That's the crazy thing with all of this. And again, nobody knows because nobody can get a hold of him, right?
Mhm.
Like and there's been no statements that have been made, but it's like the website was updated. Like there are things that have happened recently that are like, if this is one big fraud, why are these changes still being made?
So do you think he's going to show up to Eufaula in a week?
I mean, nobody's heard any, and as far as I know, nobody has heard from him. So I have no clue. I don't expect it. Last I heard, there was no permit taken out, but I also have heard that you only need a day or two to get the permit.
Were there permits taken out in Florida? Like, did you guys have the 12-inch permit and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
we had
You
that.
did.
Well, you'd have to ask Scott. My assumption is Scott told him he needed that. I don't know.
This is a weird one.
It just seems weird.
Yeah, I will say the World Bass Enterprises, it's legitimately the top 25 in the world from both tours. There is no element of, I guess, like where anybody has to like give them money or make like that one's solid.
I hope so. I mean, I honestly feel like,
They're completely independent. It's nothing to do with the other one. It's unfortunate that
yeah.
when some really good things that happen in the industry always get overshadowed.
I mean, the reality is, anytime a tournament comes along that's favorable for the anglers, it's a good thing for the sport, in my opinion. And and the reality is, if I got that same offer 10 more times, I probably, if it didn't interrupt with like if I had it in my schedule like I did, where I could get down there to fish one of my favorite lakes, I would do it again and take that risk.
Yeah, someone saw here saying plot twist, biggest identity fraud scam ever. I feel like there's a lot easier ways to get identity of 120 people than to run a major, extremely public
I mean,
national fishing trail.
well, I don't know. I mean, I know he got,
What does he have? Your social security number?
not mine.
He
He's
does.
got it for teams that were for check. In order to get the checks, he said he needed it, but uh I did not fill one out because he had that filled out at St. John's. And that's one of the things that, like, I remember at some point at Okeechobee, somebody made a comment about needing that, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get him at the St. John's." So, like, to me, that was like not.
Yeah, you didn't get that
It
vibe.
didn't seem like that. That would have been something he would have sent like a week before the tournament saying, "Hey, you need this."
Is there a chance that it was a guy who thought he had an investor? His investor didn't come out. He got in over his head, and now he's super embarrassed, and his coping mechanism is avoidance.
Dude, I don't know. Until there's, I would say until Eufaula passes, which is the first week of March. Like,
Are you going to Eufaula? Will you be at Eufaula the
no,
first week of
I
March?
should have started the show off. Miles and I officially resigned from dual threat fishing
I believe
yesterday.
retired would be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
good.
yesterday. No, I mean, we're not. I don't know if any teams are going to show up.
I might try to get in that one.
You should. You should. The minnow bite's on fire.
You got his number?
I do. Somebody told me it was a burner phone, though.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so he was using a fake name and a burner phone? Allegedly?
Allegedly. I don't know any.
That's it. I mean, you were there. That what you just said was just kind of what you experienced, what it was like. Like, was there like how did they handle the checks at the end, I guess is my question. Like what like had you cashed a check because you were in check
Yeah,
contention going into day two if it wasn't for the pesky reeds.
yeah.
Didn't you lose them in the
I
reeds?
lost
Didn't you
the
lose them in the reeds at Leech too?
gator
That would have
grass.
cost you a really good finish.
No, I lost one big one
Oh,
at Leech.
anyway, the gator grass.
uh, so my recollection at Okeechobee was he said he was going to pay for both events after the first two events. And honestly, since I didn't cash a check, I wasn't that concerned about it.
Happiest you've ever been not cashing a check in a tournament.
I mean, it I definitely am okay with the position I'm in. Meaning, I'm not sitting here expecting to receive money. I don't, if it all turns out to be what it sounds like it's turning out to be, I don't see how anyone recoups any money from this.
Do we ever find the guy?
I don't even know if we actually know his real name yet. And I'm sure, we've been fishing the last couple of days, so I'm sure there's more that's probably happened on this than
I told you what to do.
Mhm.
I told you what to do
I know.
before a single cast was made.
You told me at the same time I told you that Miles and I, this was before the first event, that our BS radars was going off, and you said you need to make sure you have your GoPro on everywhere you go, meeting, weigh in, bag line, everywhere, so that you could have it recorded, so when it goes down like the big fire fest.
I said Fire Fist was way before any of this even happened.
Well, it was a week prior to the first
Well,
tournament.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's what I meant, like before anything had gone down.
Yeah.
I just was very optimistic for you guys, but when you cancel $1.8 million in entry fees, invite 20 teams,
Doesn't make much sense. I was really hoping he had some new master plan.
Catfish Team Series.
I'd get in on that. Yeah, we'll see. The question I have is how much will we actually ever find out? Like,
You think it'll just come out in little bits and pieces? Biggs posted about the World Series of Bass, so I was part of that, which was another big. I don't even know if that was a scam because it actually aired. I think he just ran out of. I don't know what the heck happened there. Yeah, it was a scam.
Didn't get paid out.
No. So Joe Habib was his name, and he came out of left field again, and he was going to create a series that basically mirrored the World Series of Poker, that had satellite events that were $10,000 entry fees. And then if you finish in the top percentage of your satellite event, you made the main event, which was, I think, $1 million payout. And he had 3 or 4 pros involved, but then the amateur side of it was called the Dream, which was 8 or 10 contestants. You had to submit your video or whatever, and then they selected you. And if you won,
Did you submit one?
Yeah.
That's how you got in?
Yeah. If you won, you got a $10,000 entry into the main event. You got straight into the main event, so it was basically a $10,000 check. And he had broken ground on the World Series of Bass headquarters, and he had I think it was Carico that was doing, or was that Wade Middleton's deal? Is that Carico?
Carrot sticks?
No,
The
Carico,
rod?
the media company.
Oh, I don't know.
Had Wade media company. It had bought airtime on NBC Sports. We showed up. It got I should have brought the jersey and worn the damn jersey on.
You still have your videotape?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You gotta cut that in. Do you have it on that?
I do, but we're on this screen.
Oh, yeah, dang.
Yeah, I'll show it. No, I won't show it to you. I won't show it to you. I need to probably make that private after this. It's me. So I shot the video on Thunderbird out of my ZX190.
Nice.
And then I also shot half of it in the loft that I lived in at the time. This was
it a ZX or
this was
TZX?
2000, I want to say. What year? 2011, 2012, 11. So I
That's
was
not even that long ago.
26.
I guess it is a while ago at this point.
It's 15 years ago.
Yeah,
So it's almost 2 decades. So at the time, I was living in an open concept loft above a liquor store in Norman, Oklahoma. I could open up the back doors and see the OU Stadium. It was pretty baller. So half of it is me flipping and pitching, demonstrating my casting accuracy in the loft. And then the other half is on Thunderbird. Anyway, we're selected. We went to Grand. We did the whole thing. Biggs won. I ended up getting third. Ryan Salzman was in it. James Biggs, me, Tyler Mauberly, Brandon Dickinson.
And nobody got paid?
We didn't get it. Was we were all competing to win, and then the winner got it. So it was like 9 of us went home, and the winner won it. So Biggs won, but then they aired the first like 6 episodes, which was cool to be on like NBC Sports in a reality. You know, we all lived in the same place, and then like this week on World Series of Best of Dream, it's the Duck Creek Challenge, and we got inches battles. Livingston Lures had just come out, so it was the first sound technology. So we had like the Livingston Lures inches battle in Drowning Creek. They had soft plastics, believe it or not. It's like
Livingston?
It's like a rock hard Cinco. they no longer have them.
Okay.
But it was 2013. Yeah. But
so what happened with that?
He didn't pay the production company. He didn't pay the TV after it, so it only ran 6 of the 8 episodes. And then he had not broken ground on a new building, and the World Series of Bass never happened. And Dave Rush is on here. So he like went to some classics and stuff, and Dave Rush took him to the airport. Can't remember where we were. Help me out here, Dave. Dave Rush is the last person from Best on Tour to see Joe Habib. And it was in 2013.
Like he disappeared?
2014. Yeah. Totally disappeared. So got dropped off at the airport following one of the classics, and no one has seen or heard from him since. In 12 years. He had like contracts with a bunch of different guys as New Orleans. Dave Rush dropped him off at the New Orleans airport.
It just seems like a lot of work to, I don't know.
I've got that jersey. I should have worn that jersey this week on stage since I don't do a jersey.
You don't have a jersey?
No.
You don't wear a jersey on stage?
No. I wear like this, and then I'll like pin BASS patch with safety pins. You gotta be careful.
Why don't you at least have a BTL one?
No one's ever been like, hey, we'd like you to have a jersey. So it's.
I know. Make your own BTL. Get your
I'm good.
God, think what your views would be like if you wore that on stage.
Yeah, I'm sure BTL would go through the roof. We'd have 600 people on instead
Speaking
of
of
360.
my DTF jersey just shipped.
You have a DTF jersey?
That was one of the requirements. So I got one made and ordered with
See,
their
there's
logo.
gotta be elements of this that make me think he wanted there were plans on this.
I should
actually-
auction that off for St. Jude's. Maybe there's some extra
Oh
value
my
there.
God. Oh, you would make so much money on that for St. Jude. No S on the end. It's just St. Jude.
I might have got a sweatshirt and a
You have a
jersey.
DTF Matt Stefan fishing jersey.
Never worn. Never worn. There was
Did anybody have the jersey?
Well, not as far as I know, because most of us only knew we were going to be there a week ahead of time. So I ordered one right before I left.
So no one had jerseys, or they just wore their BASS.
Yeah, we just wore our jerseys. Yeah,
I got you. But there was no one there to take pictures of you either. So
I was just following the rules because it said it was grounds for disqualification if you did not wear a DTF logo.
So what did you have a logo?
Well, I had talked to him prior and said I'm not going to have this jersey in time. He said that was fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Last thing, then we're gonna wrap things up here. Tomorrow, last full day of practice, then we have an off day. Tournament starts Thursday. Hit the viewers with
Let's hear it.
what? This is an educational portion of the show. If you're practicing for a tournament, you have multiple days to practice. A lot of guys do that, whether you're club tournament, BFL, whatever. You go up Friday, Saturday, derbs on Sunday.
Okay.
What do you look to get out of the last day of practice? Are you tying up loose ends? Are you trying to find something for a home run? Are you checking your fish to make sure you're not screwed on Derby day? Like, to you, what is the most effective way to spend your last day of practice?
It's a good question. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
I
Do it for a living.
I think it's it depends on how practice is gone. I mean, in some cases, the last day of practice is just another day of all new water, or like completely different part of the lake, just trying to figure something out. If I feel like I found something the first couple days that I'm okay with, then I usually go into like, how do I build off that in the same area? Like try to find different pattern, fish a little deeper, fish a little shallower, but just I want to stay in that same general region. But it just really depends on the day. My Hail Marys are generally not the last day. I would much rather get something crazy out of the way on day 1 or 2, because if that's good, then I need to figure out like potentially how to get there or something else that could be in that same region.
So, nightmare scenario is you have a solid pattern that you're pleased with, and then you go do something 40 miles away just for the hell of it to see, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this is good too.
Yeah,
And now you've got stuff that's 50 miles apart. You're not able to really know how good it is because you've only got the one day. You don't have anything else around it. Now you wish you'd never even done it.
Yeah, it creates confusion. And generally the Hail Mary stuff works out maybe 10% of the time. So it's like,
what's your biggest Hail Mary that's ever worked out?
I mean, I don't even know that I wouldn't even call this a Hail Mary, but the one year we went out of Sandusky Bay, it was the pro circuit event. What they call them, the Super Invitational or whatever, when they let all the BPT guys fish it. And we went out of Sandusky Bay, and there were a handful of us that went up to St. Clair. So we drove 60 miles across Erie, 30 miles up the Detroit River, and then I was fishing the north end of St. Clair. So like it was like 100-mile run across the Great Lakes. I mean, it turned into a check, but I honestly feel like you're going to the best smallmouth fishing that's there. So like that, I don't even necessarily consider that a Hail Mary other than the travel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what's where you're at. Like Hail Marys a lot of time to me are like when you find something on like Google Earth and it means you're doing like, going up a creek to try to get into a pond or something. You wouldn't know anything about that anymore, but
So Chesapeake Bay a
okay.
couple years ago, I practiced. This was when you could practice 5 days.
Oh God, I couldn't take that.
So I practiced 2 days, and I caught like 3 fish. Didn't like the tide.
Sounds just like the Chesapeake Bay.
Wasn't big on the grass flats, and I find this river. I'm talking,
Sassafras?
no, you're talking with guys, and someone's like, run up the whatever, and I'm like, oh, that sounds freaking great. Didn't ask anything more about it though. Probably should have. So I look it up, I find a boat ramp. I'm like, God, that's like an hour and a half drive, but screw it, I'm not catching fish anyway. So third day of practice, load up my stuff, go put it in the river, end up running 15, 20 miles up this river, and get some really nice bites. 2.25, 3 pounders. And pretty regularly too. And I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna come back up here in the tournament. And it was enough to where I was like, I don't need to go back. I'm good. I know what to do. It's just flipping and a little bit of a drop shot and stuff like that. And so then I go back and I try to find more stuff on the Chesapeake, nothing. So I go into the first day, and the night before the tournament, I'm like looking at it, and it's like a 90-mile run. It's like 75 miles to the mouth of the river.
Mm-hmm.
So the last day of practice, instead of going out,
wasn't the sassafras?
I don't know what it was.
I bet it was.
It's way the hell up on the left-hand side, and then you have to run way up, and there's a ramps marina right at the mouth of it.
Yeah, and there's a. We'll look at a map, but I bet it's
long. Yes. I mean, and so I end up wasting a half a day of practice because I couldn't get the marina on the phone. So I had to drive over there again on the last day of practice to make sure that I could get gas. Mm-hmm. And then I was planning it all out, worked, tightened all the bolts down on the boat. And then the first morning of the tournament, so this is a horrible idea already, right? I'm going to fish for like 2.5 hours. Yes. Kurt Dove went. But Kurt Dove is also a captain and understands how the Chesapeake works.
Oh, is this the one where it got really rough?
Yes. So I take off with my co-angler, and we get to the mouth of whatever the first major creek is on the left there, and I get out in the front of that, and I stuffed 3 or 4 already, and I'm going 40 miles an hour. And I just look at him, and I go, this ain't happening. And all he did was say, thank God. we spun back around, and I never made it. But that was a spot. It basically cost me 2
Neither day? You didn't go the next day either?
No, God, no. I only caught I think I had 3 fish the first day.
Bummer.
My co-angler the second day.
That's pretty good.
Co-angler the second day had 2 for 12.
Holy cow.
Yeah, caught him on a friggin' full-size Ned Cinco. A Ninko? A Ned Cinco?
A Ned, isn't that just a Cinco?
Well, he had it on the Ned head. He was fishing it like a Ned, but it was a full-size thing. He had 2 6-pounders. Yeah, it was not pleasant. I wasted 2 full days of practice on that Hail Mary. Oh, I'll tell you, I have another crazy Hail Mary story. We were at what's the worst lake in Texas? Right there in DFW. They always send them there. It's way too small. Everyone catches 2 bass, and all the locals claim it's good for 3 weeks in January.
Where?
Right in DFW.
Dallas, Fort Worth?
Yeah, right in Dallas. They've had the opens there.
Okay.
KVD.
Oh, Louisville?
Yeah, Louisville. I went up one river and was gonna go up the other river. Ran into Kevin Ledoux. He said, "Hey, did you just go up that river?" I said, "Yeah, it sucks." He goes, "Well, I'm going up the other river. I'll let you know if it's good." So I didn't go up the other river, and I was right on the verge of making the Elite Series. I needed to finish 25th or better. And I didn't have anything going on in the lake. I'd had a good year. And would do at takeoff, I'd never talk to him again. He goes, "Hey, Panger, are you on anything?" And I said, "I'm not on shit." And he said, "They're up that other river." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "You can have it." I mean, that's just the type of guy that he is. He's such a good dude. And I was like, "I'll take it." So what? I mean, dude, like, you know how it is when you're trying to qualify or do something.
Yeah.
Like, so my co-angler's from there, and he's like, "Wait, what's the? It's the river that what's the river that has all the massive gar in it? The Trinity?
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, whatever it is up there. You have to go through the other lake." And he goes, "Here's the mouth of it." He goes, "You have 50 yards to shut down in the mouth of it." He said, "Just miss everything that you can on the way in." And I said, "Sounds good to me." So I've got a video of this. I'll have to show you this video.
Okay.
So I had never been in there. And it's the morning of the tournament, and I run as far as I can up this river, miss everything, sketchy as hell. There's two other boats up there. One's Cody Bird, one's Keith Poche. Poche was in like second after the first day of the tournament. My co-angler in a 200 boat tournament was leading the tournament behind me, and I caught one fish. I did not go back up there on the second. Oh, I did go up on the second day. I didn't catch anything in the second day either.
Sounds like they were up there.
They were up there, just not for me. All right. Yes, Stefan did share his pizza with me. It was very good pizza, except the boxes are so gigantic
We
that
gotta get rid of them.
they don't fit in any trash can or dumpster that we have on the property.
Mhm.
They're like, look at the size. These are outlandishly large.
How did they know you got pizza? Or I brought pizza?
Look at the size of this box. I've never seen a pizza box.
It's New York style. DeLuca's, 18-inch.
See, they write your name on it.
I like how you're just showing a box to everyone.
All right. We have a full day of practice tomorrow.
I gotta go.
So thanks for jumping on. We're gonna go live again tomorrow night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Maybe I can come up with some more awkward topics for you to talk about.
Anything for you, Maddie.
All right. How many blue cats did you catch today?
None.
No blue cats.
No.
I caught like 3 or 4.
No. I've only caught one so far.
They do look like delicious blue cats here, though.
Mm.
But all right. Thanks, guys. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Later.